while waiting for Dr. Narayanan, the next presenters, please get ready. Okay, go ahead. We're seeing your PowerPoint.
Yeah, so thank you very much. I hope everybody can see my PowerPoint. This is the subject I'm going to talk today. It is about how technology can power human capital and employability in Industry 4.0. A quick intro about myself. I work as a HR and OD leader for Infosys. Infosys is a global technology leader spread over across the world. We are one of the largest IT and technology companies. So, quickly going to the agenda, I want to talk to you about what is the future of work and how the concept called talent refactoring using technology can help reskilling and upskilling of the workforce needed for the future. So basically, as I start introducing the current situation, this is whatever I have prepared here. It's more of a practitioner's view and essentially how industries, IT industries and IT companies are facing a challenge because of the rapid change in technology and changes in technologies, and our current existing people or workforce itself have to be constantly trained and kept future ready on a scale to meet our demand. And I'm sure this is like all people who are familiar with IT industry, that the rapid changes in technology causing extensive redundancy in work, and companies have to keep our employees constantly trained and be ready. And this is a big challenge for all IT companies in the current era. Right? So,
Professor, could you slide show your PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you. So, all of you, I'm sure, would have heard about Alvin Toffler, who was very correct when he said that the illiterate of the 21st century is not those who cannot read, write, or something, but illiterate of the 21st century is somebody who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And how correct you are. Because we are all of you know that we are in a VUCA world. The VUCA world means the VUCA world got complicated because of pandemic further. It is volatile, ambiguous, complex, and uncertain. That is what is called VUCA. And it is a reality-based workplace that the organizations and people have to keep themselves unlearning and learning in order to even stay relevant. So in this kind of the world, the future of work or the employability seems to be favoring only those employees who possess holistic job skills. When I say holistic job skills, not only is the technical skills, but also the human-centric competencies like career identity, personal adaptability, and social and human capital. So every employee has to have a clear career identity, to be highly adaptable. In this world, they should have be socially well connected and obviously have a good human capital. That is their qualifications and all, right? And so let us look at what are the major changes caused in the employability of the talent pool or the workforce due to Industry 4.0. All of you, I don't need to tell, Industry 4.0 is the broad range of digital revolution that is causing integration of fields from nanotechnology to genetics and technological advancements in economics, digital revolution, and RPA. Okay, and this has affected the very nature of employability. Let us see what are the big changes that have caused in the employability of workforce because of the Industry 4.0. Right. Employability of workforce has evolved into a dynamic phenomenon. It's no longer static, it's a dynamic phenomenon now. How? Let us see. Competencies needed to be employable and relevant are changing rapidly in resonance to the technologies, right? Even people who have to be employed these days, every year it is getting different. The skills needed, the technological skills needed to be employable, especially in the IT industry, is changing in resonance to the changes in technology, right? Then, even those who have got selected and who are in employment of the companies, if for them to remain employable is also changing at the different stages of career, right? Many of us would have joined the industry 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and whatever skills we need, even now, as we talk, the way we present our content across worldwide through digital platforms, we need to know that. And if we are not equipped to handle digital platforms, how to create this, we won't be employable. That's the reality. Right? And in workforce readiness with the right skills have become an organizational imperative. For even organizations to survive, the organizations are not able to keep the workforce upskilled with the right kind of skills, they will lose the business. And this is all known to all of us. Right. The above phenomenon actually has started manifesting itself as an existential crisis in the IT industry today. It can also be seen as a transformational opportunity, right? There is a threat of the sudden redundancy of its workforce being perceived by all major IT companies, because whatever skills we have taken our people, that skills are becoming redundant and with the coming of the new digital technologies, and we have to keep our workforce reskilled and updated to meet the new business demands, right? This is a huge challenge. This calls for reskilling the workforce at a scale never experienced earlier. You're talking about hundreds and thousands of employees to be reskilled in digital technologies at such a fast pace. And this can never be done in the conventional methods like classroom training or those methods. This is where technology has come into. The very same technology has come to our age. The very same technology which is disrupting our lives has become the biggest help for us to keep our workforce updated. So it has also helped in a couple of things. It has helped in enhancing the human capital professionals to the center of organizational strategy. So let us see what are all the expectations from human capital professionals. See, companies are looking at HR professionals to create a sustainable framework, mechanism, or ecosystem to create workforce readiness. Ready to deploy future-ready talent pool is what organizations are expecting HR to be ready with. And this has resulted in HR evolving to the next level to become a strategic function, as a competency advisor or a custodian, ensure real-time enterprise talent capability by grooming future-ready workforce to meet the demands. Okay, so as HR professionals, we can achieve this only if we have the good understanding about the key dimensions that influence the employability of the IT talent pool. I will just touch upon that for a minute. See, the key dimensions which affect employability has been a good level of research has happened in this area, and there are career identity, personal adaptability, social and human capital, organizational and environmental factors are the key dimensions which affect employability. And this has been established through very good research from this research paper called Employability, a Psychosocial Construct, right? So employability is already understood to be a multi-dimensional concept. I'm going back. When we are, when as HR, we know these are all the dimensions. It is also important to create a self-sustaining technology-driven ecosystem, right? To keep our employees reskilled, upskilled, or cross-skilled in real time, on scale, because we are talking about hundreds of employees in a virtual world, in a post-pandemic world today. Companies are going to be virtual. People are going to be sitting in different regions of the world. How can you keep your workforce reskilled, upskilled, and cross-skilled unless you have a very strong technology platform? And that is what we are talking about as here. And enabled by a technology-driven platform with all the features of a next-gen application, like it has to be cloud-based, API-driven, with a good user experience. It should be self-navigable, and it should be accessible through multiple devices. Right? So, bridging the skill gap. How do we ensure availability of the ready to deploy skilled talent? Build or buy? We cannot buy because the talent the digital talent we are looking for, the future world is looking for, is not available in the market. So all companies have to grow their own timber and repurpose and reskill their talent from within to meet the business demand. This is a reality. So they have no other option. It is business imperative for companies also to create a continuous self-sustaining learning ecosystem, wherein all resources needed by employees to upskill, reskill themselves can be made available in a technology platform. There has been numerous industry analyst reports on the need for the industry to have a sustainable and robust mechanism for ensuring workforce readiness to meet business demands. I am not going too much into it. There has been lot of studies and analytics there. I have since this presentation is available with all of you, you can refer it later. I am coming back to my presentation. So what is talent refactoring? Very quickly, talent refactoring is a comprehensive framework which integrates workforce planning of every organization, especially the technology companies, with a futuristic digital skill catalog, which means every company should have a catalog of what and all digital skills they need. And they also should create a career navigation platform where employees can choose their careers or what roles they have their desire to play. And all these are interlinked through a cloud-based application platform that can help companies to groom a sustainable talent pipeline and repurpose existing talent to make it future-proof. Which means that every company should have a career architecture platform with the different roles available inside their organization and what skills are needed to get to that role. And it should allow the employees to choose whichever role they want to become through the career navigation platform, acquire the skills needed, and then drive their careers. It is all automated. It is all self-driven. That is, and companies should constantly make this available with the latest trainings in the latest skills, so that employees can self-drive themselves to keep themselves upskilled or reskilled. So this is the visual representation of that framework. See, this three-dimensional ecosystem, it's a technology platform where it is aligned to the business strategy, what kind of skills are needed based on the business of the organization. What is their career aspiration? Many people may be having their own aspiration of what kind of skills they have to acquire and what role they have to go. So it has to be integrated. And how they can reach there, what kind of skills they have to acquire. So that is that skill enrichment. All these are put together integrated through a technology platform, and we call it talent refactoring. The competencies needed for the digital age are technical skills and human attributes. The technical skills, obviously, everybody has to be technically savvy, digitally connected and mobile. But it is also important that for the employees to have a clear career identity. That means they need to know what they have to become, what skills they have to acquire, and a self-initiative and personal adaptability for them to reach their goal. So it is a combined effort of both the organization as well as the employees. But instead of coaching the employees or instead of training them, the role of the organization has become making the ecosystem available so that employees, wherever they are in the digital world, are able to reskill and upskill themselves as per the needs of the organization. So this is exactly what is called the talent refactoring system. And this is as per the best-in-class practice by Gartner, which has published that it has to be connecting market, development, and organization. So this is talent refactoring. So this is a new model for enterprise learning, which is technology-driven. It will have world-class contents. It will have in-demand skills, hands-on learning. Hands-on learning because employees can learn from anywhere, everywhere. What are the kind of skills available? Demand skills are needed that will be made available, and it is linked to the role and measurement and actionable insights. So Aspiration, essentially this talent refactoring framework will have an aspiration module where employees can aspire the career, or it can be a skill-based assessment by the business, and then make it available through reskilling and upskilling, provide opportunities for employees to reskill and upskill, collaborate with academic institutions. All these are digital platforms. There is a connection from the organization platform, and they can align with the academic institutions to their digital universities.
Last 2 minutes.
And then get it digitally tagged. Okay. So this becomes from learning experience platform where learning platforms can access powerful tools meant to engage employees so that they can connect people with knowledge and expertise that is needed to improve their skills and self-drive journey. So as Donald Taylor had Learning and Performance Institute and Brandon Hall Group studies had told, encouraging learning is imperative to maintain a high-performance organization. And learning professionals want to see examples of resources and platforms that support immediate learning without disrupting our work. It has become the problem of L&D function or HR function is trying to find ways to optimize and support learning, whereas in the past, it has been focused on producing content. So this is the disruption which has been caused, and technology has come to our help. Okay, I thank all participants for this opportunity to share with new friends.
Okay, thank you very much. And do you have any clarification for Dr. Narayanan?
If there is any question, I can take it.
Any question for Dr. Narayanan? I think there is none. Thank you very much, Dr. Narayanan.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
So we go to Dr. Juliet. Are you around? Or Dr. Dinesh? Dr. Dinesh? Dr. Dinesh? Dr. Juliet? Dr. Hari Harasudan? Dr. Dinesh? Dr. Hari Harasudan? Dr. Juliet? Dr. Dinesh? Dr. Dinesh of India?
Yes, sir.
Dr. Hari Harasudan of India also? Okay, Dr. Dinesh.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're the 7th presenter. Our 7th presenter is Dr. Dinesh from India. His paper is Deep Learning, Foundational Preparation for Upskilling.
So, a very good evening to one and all present over here. I'm myself and Dr. Uma Chandran has prepared this paper on deep learning, which is the foundational preparation for upskilling in the education sector, which is mandatory for the industry 4.0. So this deep learning, uh, which gives an extensive relationship with machine learning. So where there are a number of algorithms which has been incorporated to fetch the data, what human being thinks. So that has been converted to automation, and intelligence is defined as capacity to gather, process, and make decisions so fast. So this artificial intelligence or machine intelligence, which deals with some algorithm, processing algorithm, which is given as an input to alter or scale up the machine delivering capability. So all machinery equipment devices and gadgets will be referred as machines from now on. So here we have DL constructions. The DL construction is divided into two categories. One is human center and machine center. So the human center is the input given by human, that is converted to machine center, which we give inputs. So the human oriented intelligence covering stimulus, response, intelligence, meticulous, and smartness among the skill highlighted for humans.
Dr. Dinesh, for a moment, we are not seeing your PowerPoint.
1 minute. Is it visible, sir?
It says in here, started screen sharing, but it's actually 1 minute, over a minute, it's not yet appearing. Maybe you can stop for a moment, you can stop sharing and then restart the sharing. Share it again.
I think maybe he can share. Let him send the document so that we can share from our end. Okay, no, it's fine.
Sir, it's saying that your screen sharing is fast.
It's fine. It's fine. It's coming up.
Yeah.
Is it coming, sir?
Yeah, it says in here, started screen sharing. Oh, okay.
Now it's okay.
Yeah, we're seeing your screen already. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, these categories are based on two categories. One is human-centered and mission-centered. And this mission orientation, which includes this artificial intelligence, the algorithms, big data, and combined to provide the automated learning experience that is known as machine learning. So those sensors and smart tools are integrated in the human and machine learning. This provides a platform for deep learning with cognition, correction, or amplification. So this is an architecture of the interface between the human and the machine and the application where we use this machine evaluation, which is taken from the Uma Chandran's paper, and AI, all those technologies which were incorporated. So what are the things which we incorporated from the human aspect to the machine aspect, and it deals with the applications, that is called machine evaluation. So this saw the, and these smart intelligence indicators where human can utilize organizations, knowledge sources, visualization, expert views, and science to demonstrate their intelligence. When machines are linked to such tools, they can produce smart deliverables. So unlike humans, we can store their knowledge or information in short-term memory, but machine can store for long-term memory. But deep learning is nothing but the computer technique for characterizing system complexity and discovering casual pattern embedded in time series, capturing system and making suitable prediction. So this deep learning will provide you a solution for the complex flow problems also in a very easiest way or shortest path or optimized path can be done by using this deep learning, that where the human beings cannot able to detect or solve the equations. And these smart intelligent indicators where we have electroclogram which analyze the eye movement, so which used to train the computer to perceptual process and cognitive functions and to conduct appropriate processing, where we use these techniques in the now online platform test. The eye contact can be visualized and counted how much time they are closing their eye contact, eyeballs are rotating and eyeballs are moving down. So that also can be incorporated in this software. And electro measures the brain activity, which is similar to looking one's mind to how thoughts and information flows. So this EDA analysis, which measure the organism stimulus response reaction as well as activity based emotional reactions.
பாதி போயிடுச்சு போனதுலயே மேல மேல போட்டுட்டு
Excuse me, could you turn off your audio?
Next, the preparation. It is a type of artificial neural network that has numerous layers and works with non-polynomial
இந்த ஆள்காட்டி
function.
விரல்ல மட்டும்
So,
ஃபுல்லா சுத்தமா
the
போயிடுது
importance
பாப்பா
of
என்னன்னு
hardware
தெரியல
connectivity for deep learning success cannot be overstated because it utilizes the sensors and
பால் சொல்லிட்டு
transducers.
போனோம் உங்ககிட்ட
Image CMO sensor
நேரம் வந்துருச்சுன்னா
stands
வாங்கி
for complex metal oxide semiconductor and can be monochrome or color or used for vision. And ML algorithm, this algorithm is deals with the mathematical and scientific computation of metrology, mensuration as well as bioinformatics. All these informations inputs in a format as aggregate data. We give the computer analytics that will be value added to the enriched data, and where we can make a decision by these outputs. This cognitive improvement comes in variety of shapes and signs, depend on the technology used for authenticity and contribution to our lives. So DL algorithm network, we have several networks, hidden and output layer in a feed forward mode, either fully or locally, and multi-layered feed network. Like that, we have several network or algorithm which we are used in the deep learning concept, where that will give you a solution in a very easiest way. So these are the various type of network: artificial neural network, conventional neural network, recurrent neural network, generative adversarial neural network, deep belief network. So this DL frame network, that is deep learning framework, this can be used either speed or usability, but it can use some other tools like Theano, PyTorch, DL4J, Keras, Microsoft Cognitive Tool, framing network, and some of the following are retold here as example of coverage. So this TensorFlow is a open source data flow library where we get generated information for the entire system, including data loading, pre-processing, and pre-fetching. Scikit-learn, it is also an open source graphic model, and it is accessible. NumPy, Matplotlib, and SciPy are the foundation of Scikit. PyTorch is also a machine learning platform which speed up the prototype to production process. And Keras is a Python programming neural network with TensorFlow. And Theano is a developer multi-core with defensive check, including unit tests that cover everything. It also contains debugging tools, but the drawback is that lack of printout. So by this deep learning incorporate with the algorithm, several algorithm, DL algorithm, ML algorithm, and that incorporates with the techniques, TensorFlow, Torch, like that. It has evaluated potentially to continuously evolve in human inabilities that is attention, thinking, and memory expectation. When technology and communication system influence the way information is collected and processed, it has significant information impact on the information is transferred and consumed. So based on the volume of information from various sources, it offers to improve the quality of life and to realize its full potential. So unlike humans do not have the ability to improve general health in order to create cognitive enhancing benefiting that directly degrade condition, immune function development, or even exercise. So all these things are very, very important in the upcoming scenario for the industry 4.0. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dinesh. Any clarification for Dr. Dinesh? One or two can be accommodated. Any question? Any clarification? I think there is none. So thank you so much, Dr. Dinesh. Okay, Professor Chukowari, we're given the signal to go. Okay, so are you ready, Dr. Chukowari?
Yes, let me share the slide.
Yeah, go ahead. I asked the permission already of Dr. Krishnan. So for everyone, we're actually waiting for the presentation of Dr. Juliet on e-health assessment framework to be presented by Dr. Chukowari from South Africa. Okay, it's there already, Professor Chukowari. Go ahead.
Okay, Juliet, can you present?
Yes, I will.
Okay, Dr. Juliet, go ahead.
Okay, good day, everyone. Sorry for the delay and everything. My study is about a conceptual e-health readiness assessment framework for higher education. So basically, I'm proposing an e-health, I'm proposing a contextual e-health readiness assessment framework that could be used for assessing readiness in developing countries. Let's start with defining the terms that we're going to see throughout this presentation. We have, please go to the next slide. We have e-health readiness. It means the preparedness, the extent or the preparedness for e-health technology by higher education students who are the receivers of various healthcare services. Then we have a framework. A framework can be defined as a guide or a basic structure underlying a system or a concept or text. So in this study, a framework that is guiding the entire study will be developed, which is the conceptual, the conceptual e-health readiness assessment framework. Then we have the e-health readiness assessment framework, which in this study is called an indigenous context-specific e-health readiness assessment framework for patients. It is proposed in this paper. Then we have the issue of context. Context-specific e-health readiness assessment framework. Context in this study means considering the setting in which the study is conducted. So in this study, it means taking into consideration the context of South Africa, the culture, the language, the political landscape, and the society. Let's go to the next slide. Now, I have, before going on to talk about this proposed framework, I have to discuss about the background of South Africa and the background of this study. Now, as we know, healthcare extends across all races, genders, ages, culture, as well as geographical boundaries. Now, we also have developing countries which has a problem of healthcare issues such as infectious and chronic diseases. We have lack of basic healthcare programs, facilities, as well as a shortage of skilled healthcare workers. Now, these problems result in poor healthcare, which inhibits development in these countries. Now, technologies such as e-health can be used to help manage or distribute and share health-related information, hence resulting in new opportunities for patients in both developing and developed countries. The application of e-health systems has also been reported by previous studies as an effective platform in advancing healthcare services, and it's one of the key solutions that aid healthcare practices. Geographically, we found South Africa located in sub-Saharan Africa. It shares borders with its northern neighbors, namely Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. It covers a large area and it is home to 59.3 million people. It has 11 officially recognized languages, and these languages are spoken across all the 9 provinces of South Africa. Now, with regards to e-health, South Africa is regarded as one of the leading sub-Saharan African countries in terms of e-health implementations. It has placed healthcare reforms as a priority area in the country's development agenda at the end of the apartheid era in 1994. However, despite the effort by the government to improve access to healthcare for all, we still see South Africans faced with challenges such as health outcomes remaining polarized, unequal, and unfair. We also see shortages of nurses, linen. We see flooded theaters and no functional telephone lines. Now, with all this, South Africa started aiming at improving healthcare services through the concept of electronic health systems by analyzing its potential role. Now, even though this is the case, we found out that even though e-health is there and South Africa looks at trying to analyze its potential, its full potential in improving healthcare, we see that there has been some studies done in South Africa focusing on e-health. However, these studies focused on developing e-health readiness assessment frameworks or models with a focus on hospitals. They neglected developing frameworks that assess e-health readiness for patients in South Africa. Now, this study tries to come in and bridge this gap by saying we want to introduce e-health, but now e-health is not into its full potential. What can we do? We need to assess readiness first before we introduce e-health to the patients. So we are trying to develop, we are proposing this e-health readiness assessment model to say, let's use this model. Maybe we'll see e-health being accepted better. Assistance from various medical personnel and facilities. The use of student population also allows us to narrow down as possible the patients or receivers of healthcare system in South Africa, as somewhat all of us in South Africa are receivers of the healthcare system. So this makes students to qualify to be part of the study. Now, the student population also consists of a diverse group of individuals who are natives of South Africa and other countries of the world. The problem statement, as demonstrated in the research motivation, is a problem of having no e-health as receivers of the healthcare system services. Now, the main research question is, how should an indigenous context-specific e-health readiness assessment framework for a developing country be developed? In order to address this main research question, we have sub-research questions, which are, how do past factors impact e-health readiness of higher education institution students? Past factors means political, economic, societal, and technological factors. How does the e-health readiness of the higher education institute students relate with the demographic factors? How do technology readiness factors impact the e-health readiness of the higher education institution students? How does technology readiness factors influence the e-health readiness of the higher education institution students? Now, in terms of the literature review, this study critiqued some of the existing e-health readiness assessment frameworks, and we found out that the existing frameworks reflect perspectives on healthcare providers and organizations, thereby ignoring the development of frameworks that are tailored to assess individual readiness of end users, patients, university students in this study, which are also the receivers of healthcare services. Additionally, we see that these frameworks do not take into account the political, the economic, the social, and technological factors affecting individual readiness to use e-health in developing countries such as South Africa. Other authors also recommended the importance of considering context while developing a model for e-health readiness assessment in developing countries. Therefore, this study considers context in the sense that it takes into consideration the setting in which the study is considered. That is, it caters for all the different aspects that affect people living in South Africa, such as their language, culture, the political landscape they live in when developing a model for e-health assessment. Then we have the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is called a context-specific e-health readiness assessment framework for patients. It covers demographic factors, health factors, then technology acceptance factors, and the technology readiness factors. So when we came up with this model, we adopted factors, constructs from the technology readiness and acceptance model, and also the technology acceptance model factors. Then we brought in the past factors, which is the political, economic, social, and technological factors, and also brought an issue of demographics, which is age, gender, language, and academic level. Let's go to the research methodology. In terms of the research methodology, this study research methodology slide. So this study follows a deductive approach of theory development. The research strategy will use a survey strategy whereby data will be collected from students using an online survey in a cross-sectional basis once. The survey is seen as appropriate because it's suitable for studies where the unit of analysis are individuals. Now, the target populations are higher education institution students. Therefore, a sample size of 381 students from higher education institutions in South Africa will be administered this research questionnaire. The students are chosen because these universities have students coming from cities, semi-rural and rural areas, thus making the research population a representative of the diverse nature of South African student population. Now, in terms of sampling, we use the convenience non-probabilistic sampling technique, and data collection techniques in this study include the use of primary and secondary data. Now, the significance of this study and contribution to the body of knowledge. This study just proposes an indigenous context-specific e-health readiness assessment framework, which will find the determinants of readiness to use e-health, thereby improving the delivery of electronic healthcare services to the student population. The research will also provide useful information on a framework that can be used to assess the e-health readiness of university students in South Africa to different stakeholders. The results of this research could be used by healthcare service providers and the government of South Africa, as well as developers of e-health initiatives, to make informed decisions on implementations of different e-health initiatives from a patient's, which are university students' points of view, hence avoiding the issue of failure to innovate after introducing the e-health technology to the student community. Now, in the field of information systems, this will provide, pardon?
Last 2 minutes.
Okay. The research also provides insights on the indigenous context-specific factors affecting the e-health readiness of students in South Africa. The research also reduced the disjointed research on e-health in developing countries, as little research has been done on the development of e-health readiness framework for university students who are treated as end users in a country such as South Africa. Now, that is basically it. This study is just a proposal that develop a conceptual e-health readiness framework. We are still ongoing. The study is still ongoing. We are yet to collect data and validate the model. So it's just a conceptual paper. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you also, Dr. Juliet. I think we can entertain one question for Dr. Juliet. Anyone?
Yes, please.
Yes, Dr. Deborah.
This is not a question, but I would like to share this with Dr. Juliet. I come from the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. We are a developing country. And in the process of managing the COVID-19 pandemic, what I have experienced, and I think we all discovered, was that the persons who are working with the online systems, who are developing the online systems, because of the lockdown, everything is now virtual. They are not doing site visits, for example, to the health centers where the vaccines were being administered, to fully understand the system. So I will just give you an example of what happened to me. They advertised online that a student center was issuing vaccines that day, and we were advised to go. So I went and I got in line, and when I got to the attendant for them to actually fill in my paperwork, I was told because of the vaccine I was taking, I was doing the AstraZeneca, they did not have enough numbers to open a batch of 10 vaccines. And what they did, they took my name and I had to leave and come back another day. I left my contact, and they said they would contact me. So the point I'm making is ensure that the persons who are developing the online systems for your e-health work in close collaboration with the persons on the ground who are actually in the implementation on the ground, so that those persons could understand what actually happens in the practical sense, and to try as much as possible for the online systems to mimic what happens in real life. I know it's a mouthful, but I hope it could be helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I agree, Dr. Deborah. It happened also here in the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, this is good to
that's
know.
very
This is
true.
good
Yeah,
to
that's
know.
very true. Many, some or many actually were actually registering online, but were not actually accommodated when they went actually to the site.
Yes, yes.
Their names are not actually on the list, but they are actually able to register online. So
Yes.
there is a mismatch between what is actually going on with the online registration and what's happening in the actual or the on-site
Yeah,
practice.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And to all participants in this room, thank you very much for attending and for bearing with us with the technical problems that we have. So I'm very sorry for that. So thank you very much, Dr. Deborah, all the presenters of this room. Thank you so much. And I thank all of us